back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to an Ascension Connections Sacred Membership exclusive. This is something I've been wanting to do for a couple of weeks at the very least. I have had this on my mind for a while, a special dragon oracle channeling. I kept getting distracted. There was always something that was coming up or something that took precedence, but this has always been in the back of my mind for a while. And I'm hearing dragons have patience. They're saying it was coming at the exact right time that it needed to be. And the reason why I'm kind of getting the green light now is because last night as I was falling asleep, all of a sudden I just got a glimpse of my dragons. And I call on my dragons sometimes for protection, even though they're reminding me that they're always around. They do like that acknowledgement. They do like that recognition. And so I'm being kind of told to just call on them regularly because they are here to support. And they're going to support us in this reading today. We're going to keep tuning in. The first initiation, I should say, that I had with dragons was a couple of years ago when I was activated to light language. And I had these visions of a dragon that was beautiful, black dragon with like red underscales, fire dragon. And I got her name. It is not her true name, she always said. I called her Ambrosia. She said it's not her true name, but it's close. And it's something, her name is something that I wouldn't understand or I wouldn't pronounce or something like that. I wouldn't be able to understand or pronounce. And I'm taking that to mean that it's like a dragon language, like another language or something like that, that might be a little bit more difficult for my human senses. And then just last year, another dragon came in, beautiful again. She is white with kind of like an ice blue underscale, really beautiful. And I got her name as well, and that one is her real name, and I am called to keep that sacred with me. And so I am. Names are sacred, especially as these are protectors, especially as these are spirit guides, helping us in this physical realm. Even if we can't see them, it doesn't mean that they're not existing. And what they're actually saying is they are making themselves much more known now in symbolism, in movies, in pop culture. Even with your physical eyes, for example, in clouds or in images that you might see in nature, they're making themselves much more known because the world is waking up. They've always been here. It's not that dragons are waking up, it's that we are waking up to their existence, and they like to be acknowledged. They like to be recognized. They want to be acknowledged and recognized. And so what I gathered all my dragons. I think this is all of them, I'm pretty sure. And so I have all my little dragons here to support. This one, and this one are usually here with us. This guy I thought is really cool. I got that at the crystal shop. So I just kind of gathered them here to support this reading, and just really dusty. That's the problem with having crystals, right? And just kind of support this reading and see what wants to come through with regards to guidance and what is it that they want to say. What is it that they want to say? Again, there's this energy coming through of recognition and acknowledgement, and they deeply appreciate that because that's how they connect with us, is what they're saying. That's how they connect with us. So we're going to do some channeling with the oracle cards. I have 2 decks, and we're just going to see what is it that they want to say to us in this space and time, in this now moment, as support for our ascension journey and collective awakening. What is it that we need to know right now? Whenever you read this, or whenever you see this, whenever you watch this, that is perfect for you. It's a timeless reading in this space and time as it connects to you. What is it that we need to know? What is it that we need to know? We have the Emerald Dragon. Brings in healing and cosmic abundance. Good fortune is coming. Let your thoughts support your divine perfection. Align with your 5th dimensional blueprint. What I'm getting from this is that we might have been experienced. We have been experienced. I'm going to be affirmative in that. We have been experiencing some very tumultuous collective energies. where the energy might have felt heavy. Even if we ultimately feel at peace, even if we ultimately feel good and we're in a place of high frequency and feeling joy and love, gratitude, etc., all those higher frequencies, the collective energy around us has been very heavy. And so it has been a little bit difficult to navigate that. So even though we might be on a path and the path is clear, there's still kind of like a forest around us, and that forest itself might feel a little bit dense, might feel a little bit heavy, and so it's impacting us, right? So even though we're on the path going through the forest, we get pockets of sunshine and stuff. It's still a thick forest, and so it does have its impact on us. They're just showing me this image of walking through a forest and having a canopy of trees and branches overhead. And you know how sometimes the sun, the sun streams might just struggle a little bit to get through. Um, it's your way is lit, but not as much as it would be, for example, if you were in a meadow, that kind of thing. It's we're still impacted. So we're doing good. We're on our path. We know the way. We're being guided. We're in a higher frequency, but the surrounding energy just feel a little bit more dense, and a little bit more heavy. This dragon that's coming through is an earth energy dragon that is reminding us also to connect to the earth and connect to the trees, for example. In this analogy of the forest, what they're reminding us is that the forest isn't separate from us either, and that they're helping us, the trees themselves and all those creatures that are part of the forest are actually helping us to navigate. So even though the energies are feeling pretty heavy, it is also helping us to navigate our journey, or we are navigating this journey with guidance. So not to give in to the despair, not to give in to that weariness, not to give in to the exhaustion and fatigue from these heavy energies. We are being supported and guided. And to connect with nature to refuel us. Especially with regards to trees. Trees have their own collective consciousness through the root system. It's how they communicate with each other. That is proven by science, which is fascinating. What they're actually saying is connect and refuel with nature, but especially like with the trees and the creatures that are in the trees, but the trees themselves, connect with them. They carry ancient wisdom that they want to pass down to us too, is what they're saying. And they communicate with the earth dragons too. There is a deep connection between the earth dragons and the earth itself, and nature itself, nature consciousness, tree consciousness. And so don't be afraid to communicate with the tree consciousness when you are wanting to communicate with your dragon too, because all is connected. They are connected to each other. So this energy, healing and cosmic abundance, we might have been feeling this heavy energy cosmically. Astrologically, it has been very difficult. Mars has been retrograde at the time of this channeling. It is going direct in a couple of days, so we're going to be feeling some of that relief and some of that release, which is what we've been doing. We have been releasing that old energy, releasing conflict. Mars is the energy of war. It's also an energy that is a fire energy, so anger, conflict, anything that is rooted in kind of that fiery energy. Also, leadership is what they're reminding me of, asking you to step up, reminding you of your power to step up and become a leader within your own life, that you are in control of your emotions, you are in control of your life, you are in control of yourself. And so astrologically, what we've been experiencing with this retrograde is kind of reviewing anything that we need to release with regards to anger, with regards to conflict, and that's closely tied with injustice. I did a channeling on that in I think it was the 2025 year ahead channeling, actually. We talked about that, how that's tied with injustice, or that sense of injustice that we might be seeing play out in the physical world. So, a lot of messages coming through here about almost like hold on, don't give up hope. It's not necessarily hope as it is just trust in the unfolding. That's all hope is. Hope is not something outside of yourself. Hope is something that you anchor to because you're trusting in yourself, and so you're believing That's what hope is. It's like a belief. You're believing in the positive outcomes. And all these timelines are open right now. There's timelines that are shifting very, very quickly because everything is open right now. And the more that you are attuning to those higher frequencies, the more that you are naturally attuned to those higher timelines. And so everything is shifting right now. Just kind of hold on, just let it unfold, just kind of be in the flow of it. It's kind of this energy that I'm getting. Good fortune is coming. Let your thoughts support you, align with the fifth dimensional blueprint. There is a supportive energy that is here. Okay, let's see what else we need to know. Thor's red, black, and gold dragon protects you in times of change. A time of rapid transition and transformation. Relax, you are safe. And we also have the earth dragon, clears your path and the land around you, which is kind of like interesting that we were talking about the dense energy of the forest, right? Where it might feel like the heaviness is impacting us, even like I'm calling it adjacent, like it's adjacent to us. We might be seeing it, we might be part of it or experiencing it, but we're not in the thick of it. It's like we're in the eye of the storm and we're seeing the storm play out around us, and we might be connected to it in some way and even taking part in it in some way, holding space, supporting. I just did a soul path reading called Letting Go of the Ego that's going to be related to this. And what I'll do is I'll actually put a link to that. It's on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that here in the description box so that you can check that out next if that's going to resonate for you. But we talked about that, where I was sharing my own experience of how people who are close to me are experiencing some chaos, and I'm adjacent to it, but I'm able to be in a place of observership. I'm able to be in a place of peace, and even though I am, taking action in a supportive fashion when I'm called to, I'm not taking responsibility for other people's journeys or other people's choices and decisions, which is a very different energy than I used to be in, because I used to feel helpless and anxious and want to help and want to change and over sacrificing, over giving, etc., right? Well, we let go of that. And as we let go of that, we actually clear the path for other people to have their journey, and it allows us to hold more space for them, which has a ripple effect of healing for everything around us. So us being the eye of the storm, even though we're adjacent to that storm, or we might be experiencing that storm on the periphery, we're not in the thick of it. And that's the same as walking through the forest. Like the path is clear because that's been your healing journey. You've cleared your path. So that it might still feel like a dense and heavy energy around you, where you might not be able to see so far into the forest, but you can see your path, and that's what you trust. You can trust your path. Stay grounded, be ready to serve. Stuck energy is clearing, you can move forward in life. And I like how that's paired with this protection energy. Because the more that you are anchored and grounded into this energy and recognizing that you are protected, again, the dragons came through and were like, just acknowledge us, just recognize us. We are here and have always been here. The more you are allowing for the transformation of these open timelines to take place. You shift into that higher timeline. You allow for transformation to take place and shift into your preferred timeline, your higher timeline. Okay. Let's go deeper. What is it that we need to know right now? Gifts. She feels like my dragon. She doesn't look quite like that, but she feels like my dragon. It just feels very peaceful. It feels very calm. And what I'm actually, because I'm feeling a sense of calm overcome me, what I'm actually feeling is this is one of the gifts that they bring. It's not just a fierce energy that the dragons bring in. They also bring in a very loving, peaceful, and calm energy when it's needed. They are fiercely protective. That's their role. That's what they're here as guides, to be supportive. But part of that protection and part of that support is bringing through energies of peace. And what I'm actually getting is this is a higher dragon that's coming through. When I say higher dragon, I don't mean in the sense of hierarchy or superiority. Just in the I guess you would call it a hierarchy, kind of like in the rankings of dragons. She feels very connected to God's source. Um, Almost like at the right hand, God's source kind of energy is what I'm getting. Um, I feel like this dragon that I'm connecting with is coming through with that God source energy, and I'm just feeling it wash over me. And again, it just feels so peaceful. It feels so trusting. And it feels like a reminder to keep tapping into this energy regardless of what is being experienced, seen, or shown in the physical world. This is one of the gifts that they bring. And I'm also hearing that this is one of the gifts that you have, the ability to tap in. I'm looking at this as I'm channeling. I'm finding myself looking at this. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't want to burn myself on the candle here. I'm looking at this flower. This is made up of flowers. I got this at a yard sale ages ago. But what I'm looking at are these circles, these concentric circles. And it's reminding me of the seed of life. Everything interconnected. And you have little Vesica Pisces in between each of them, right? One circle, another circle overlapping. That's seed of life energy. Everything is interconnected. Don't forget your power too, is what they're saying. Don't forget your own power. What do we need to know right now? Initiation. Look, it's the same one. Like, she's very present right now. It doesn't quite look like her in my mind, but it's this energy that I'm getting. It's a very peaceful energy, even regal in the way that she's standing. And it just feels like very divinely connected. All dragons are, but she feels like God's source herself. Deeply, deeply connected to God's source herself. What she's actually saying is, like, there are different rankings of angels, for example. It's that kind of energy. It's not a ranking as in a hierarchy. It's not a ranking as in one is better or worse. That doesn't exist in the higher realms, she's reminding us. That's a man-made construct, and that comes from ego. What she's saying is it's not even proximity to God. I was about to say it's proximity to God, and she said no, it's not even that. It's not even proximity to God. It's just what we were made for, is what she's saying. Our purpose. So, for example, fire, earth dragons, the elementals, are here to harness the elements in protection of the earth and protection of mankind. But then there are other dragons who are closely connected to the divine, who are harnessing that energy to bring forth that energy. So it's that kind of, it's purpose. It's for a divine purpose. Fascinating. Initiation. This feels like a collective initiation that we're experiencing as we're experiencing a collective awakening. It doesn't feel individual. It doesn't feel personal to you, the viewer, myself, the channeler. It feels more like this is a collective energy. And so part of your gift is going to be in that peace, staying in that peace. Part of your gift is going to be having gone through this ascension journey and being able to be an observership, being able to hold that space, be the eye of the storm, hold the light, be the light. We've been channeling that for years. Hold the light, be that beacon for others. That's your gift. You've already gone through your initiation. And now as the collective is going through their awakening initiation, that's who you are for them. And she's reminding us too that that's who she is for us, where she holds that light for us. She holds that energy for all of us. That's that divine love. She's very, like, it feels very divine. It feels very connected. So the collective, what we're seeing play out in the physical with all the chaos and the systems crumbling, etc., is our own initiation. Are we going to unite? Are we going to pick up the mantle? There's a huge shadow that has been shown right now in the collective, as it needs to be. And part of your awakening is recognizing the shadow so that you can attune more fully to the light within, to the divinity within. And it's not just within yourself, but it's recognizing the soul self within all. She just reminded me of the word namaste. The soul in me sees the soul in you, roughly translated. And so it's that kind of energy. Are we going to pass that test? Now, again, many of us have already gone through huge cycles and phases and initiations of our ascension journey, and that's where we are holding the space and holding the light for others who have not maybe gone through their initial awakening, maybe who have been activated to their ascension, maybe those who have woken up to certain aspects but are going deeper. And we've been channeling that for a while now, where spiritual awakening isn't just truth seeking. Spiritual awakening isn't just, recognizing spiritual topics or recognizing, that life can be done a different way. That's not that's a start. That's where what you wake up to, but your ascension journey is a deeper process of recognizing your inner self, and that is not just shadow work. That is identity, self-concept, belief work. It is soul-driven work. It is going into the depths of yourselves and excavating, clearing out all of what I like to call soul sludge, and bringing to the surface all of that soul sludge so that you can clear it and make room for higher frequencies of light, of joy, of love. So there's many, and you can watch back on previous recordings, especially from November onwards, where I've just been talking about this a lot because it's been coming up a lot, where spiritual awakening, again, is not just, turning to more natural foods or being mindful of natural medicines, or, being aware that there's more that goes on underneath the surface, that all the world's a stage, so to speak. That's one level and one layer, but that's where many people get stuck. That's a consciousness loop, and people get stuck there. We have to break free from that matrix. That's a spiritual matrix too. You have to break free from that matrix and recognize that there's more to it. It's about doing the inner work, the deep inner work. And many people, they will stop. They will do surface level work, or they will go a couple levels deep and think that's it. Oh, I've done my shadow work. I'm done. Well, no, evolution continues to evolve. You continue to evolve, you continue to grow. Evolution happens in cycles and layers, and there's always more. It's not going to feel as heavy, it's not going to feel as hard, but there is always more. And so that's what's happening right now, is the world is going through its own initiation, where it's reflecting itself. It's looking at itself in the mirror. We're looking at ourselves in the mirror and being asked, are you going to unite? Are you going to step up to the mantle and take care of your brothers and your sisters on this planet? Are you? Or are you going to sit back in passivity and say, oh, this is all everything that's meant to be? Well, dragon energy doesn't like that. Dragon energy is active energy. Dragon energy is not passive. And that's what she's coming in to remind us as well. That it's about recognizing in your own creative empowerment the importance of taking that guided action. These fell over. Let's see what they are. Thoughts and King Arthur. It's interesting. Queen Guinevere has been coming through for me quite a bit lately, and there's been a channeling I've been wanting to do for the past 2 years. I just haven't. It's been in my notes. I just haven't, and then kind of the energy faded, so I just let it go. But I think we're going to revisit it as I tune in more to it. because I've been getting guided to Guinevere again. And now here we have King Arthur. Well, what's interesting about this is exactly what we were channeling. Thoughts can be a passive energy, right? And it's only when we take action in our masculine energy that we're able to create real change. And so what we're seeing is a necessary destruction. Kelly Ma reminds us of that cycle of creation, right? From destruction comes creation, from endings come beginnings. So we're seeing a necessary upheaval. I'll call it that. I don't like to call it destruction. They don't want me to call it destruction. So it's not necessarily destruction. They just have me look at the bottom of the deck. I'll get to that in a second. But it is an upheaval. And so we'll go through these upheavals because anything that is not built on this, anything that is not built on love, is not real. Number one, is not solid, is not stable, it is not connected to the divine. But what is love? Love is unity consciousness. Love is recognizing the divinity within all. Love is recognizing your brothers and your sisters and taking care of each other. Love is taking care of the planet. Love is not being in survival mode, which so many on this planet are unconsciously right now. They're in survival mode, me and mine. Rather than me and mine, it's about what can we do for each other? How can we help each other? That is true love. That is divine love. That is Christ consciousness love. And so with King Arthur, too, he is the embodiment of that Christ consciousness. He is the embodiment of the sacred masculine. And so where we can get passive is we can get too caught up in our thoughts, and thoughts are fleeting things, right? We can't hold on to our thoughts. They're intangible. They're fleeting. They can change one thing to the next. And also what they're reminding me of is don't believe every thought that you think, especially because there is a collective thought as well. That's where you have to be so anchored into yourself. That's where you have to be so in tune. That too is a sacred masculine. The sacred masculine is anchored into themselves, rooted, grounded in the physical plane and within their own self. They're very grounded energies, which is what is necessary. That's the boots on the ground energy. Boots on the ground is activism and advocacy, yes, in one sense, but it is also a sense of I'm here in the human. I'm not just ethereal in the spiritual, which the spiritual community can get very caught up in. It's I'm also very grounded here in the physical human life. And that's what your ascension journey teaches you. It teaches you that you yourself are the bridge between the two. You are the bridge between the human experience, having a human experience, and your spiritual essence. And connecting on that bridge within the self is what is vital, because that is where love resides. Yeah, we're going to be doing a Camelot and Avalon reading for sure. That's going to be coming through. Okay, anything else that we need to know from the dragons today? Anything else that we need to know? Hope. What were we just saying about hope? Hope is not something that is outside of ourselves. Hope is not something that is kind of airy-fairy. Hope is a trust. Hope is essentially a faith. Hope is a connected energy, connected to yourself, connected to God's source. Hope is a grounded energy. When we sometimes it could be like a blind optimism. Hope, we can think of, I'm getting called to the phrase hope floats. That was a movie, wasn't it? I'm getting called to that phrase where sometimes it could feel like a very blind optimism, like a oh, I'm hoping, but I don't really believe it, right? I'm hoping, but I don't really know. That's the kind of energy that hope can be. But what is true hope? Hope is actually a faith. Hope is actually a knowing. Hope is actually a trust. And that's where your empowerment comes into play. That's where your trust in the divine unfolding, that's where your trust in the divine comes into play. Very interesting energy here. Anything else we need to know? Anything else we need to know for current times? Anything else we need to know for current times, please, from the dragons? It was very interesting. I was called to do a as I was getting my decks out, I saw my unicorn decks, and I'm like, you know what? I should probably do a mystical creatures reading. And I think I'm going to do that. Um, and I like that. We have the unicorn and we have the dragons. And the reason why I was called to do a mystical creatures reading is because that's literally who is helping us. Just like the dragons want to be acknowledged, there are all sorts of energies that are coming to the forefront that we have forgotten because we've forgotten ourselves, and we've forgotten our connection to the land. We've forgotten our connection to this planet. We've forgotten our connection to our own divinity. We've forgotten our connection. We've forgotten. There's a beautiful quote by Mary Oliver that says, "Only if there are angels in your head will you ever truly see one." Only if there are angels in your head will you ever truly see one. It is not about I thought I was so clever when I was little and I came up with this. I remember I used to connect deeply with my angels, and I had suppressed that and forgotten that as I got older. But there was a time when 10, 11, maybe even younger, I would sit on the floor of my bedroom and read through this magazine. It was like an Angels Among Us magazine. And I was just so deeply connected. And I would write poetry about angels, and I would connect with angels before I was going to sleep. But I'd forgotten all of that as I got older, or I had repressed all of that and suppressed all of that. But one of the things that came to me when I was that young and I thought was brilliant, and I'm just like, oh, I'm brilliant, as you do when you're a kid. But now it's like a very common phrase is believing isn't seeing. No, seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing. And that's the same kind of energy. Seeing isn't believing. Your physical world is just a reflection of your own beliefs. It's a reflection of yourself. It's a reflection. So believing is seeing. What is it that you believe in? That is what you create. That is what you'll see. And unicorns and dragons and fairies and the magic that is there, it's never gone away. It's never been lost. It's always there. We've just forgotten it. Just like I forgot my angels. We've just repressed it. We became more human, and we stepped off that bridge. We forgot our spiritual nature. And that's what the spiritual journey teaches us. It brings us back to ourselves, brings us back home. It brings us back to the bridge. All right, I'm going to share this, I think, with the collective. And those of you who are in the sacred membership, I'm going to do the mystical creatures reading for you guys. So we'll see what comes through. But I feel like this is a message, an ascension message for the greater collective, and then we'll see what the mystical creatures say. In addition, for those of you who are in the membership, as additional support. And we'll have that hopefully over this weekend. Okay? I'm sending you all so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon.